For this video, I thought I'd brag a little bit about what the high-level MSM has done for me in the past. When I was 56 years old, I had arthritis, well, virtually throughout my body. And I also had problems with inadequate blood flow. When I would hold my arm up about this high or so, my arm would go to sleep pretty fast. So I think the time was short. If I hadn't done something and found something that would improve my health overall, I was definitely on a bad path. But at 56, I ran into this guy, the farmer who raised horses in Kentucky. He told me all about this, and he told me that his family had, no health problems. Basically, and there's like 30 some odd people in the family, so that was pretty good. I was convinced, and he sent me a bucket of it, and from then on, my health improved from that day. But basically, I was born with juvenile arthritis in my hip, and I used to think I had polio. I wouldn't tell anybody. So that was one of the problems, and I had juvenile arthritis in my fingers, and when I'd go out and play in the snow, my fingers would swell up and they would itch. And as I got older, that problem got to be so bad that if I tried to hold a wrench in cold weather, the wrench, I'd have to drop it because it was just overwhelming pain. Now that was the two things that I had right off the bat, and what resulted after that was that so I got to be about 26 years old, the hip problem got so bad that I couldn't drive a car for about a month. I couldn't drive a car because the pain was so high, and I couldn't get into the car even. So it got to be really bad. Then as I got older, I got into a ski accident at age 36, where I was skiing down Killington on the main face, and about 35 miles an hour, I flipped in the air. The tip of my one ski hit the snow and ripped my. I was spinning, and my binding didn't come out, so basically snapped my ACL, and I skied down the mountain on one ski, sitting on the ski with the other ski under my arm and my ski poles, and got down there, and the woman told me what had happened. She said, "Look, I'm just a nurse, but I see 30 of these a day." She said, "You got a snapped ACL," and she said, "Not much you can do for it." In those days, there wasn't. I would have probably, nowadays, I would probably gotten a knee replacement surgery. I don't know if I didn't know any better. But what I did do was, she told me how to do physical therapy, and I got on this bus, and there was a physical therapist on the bus, and she explained to me what to do, and within about 30 days I was able to walk and live normally, and as the woman explained, the nurse had explained, she said it would come back 80%, and it did. I was good. And then as I got to be about 50, or no, it was younger than that, about 48, it started to come out of the joint, and I would be playing tennis, and next thing I know, I'd be on the floor in pain, and couldn't, I'd have to wait a while before I could get my knee back up. And then I went to a sports specialist, and the guy, he's a pretty good Dr. Marvel around here, pretty good specialist, well known, nice guy. And he explained to me that I'd had to have knee replacement surgery, and he had the same thing. and he pushed my knee around, and he said, you know, you got to get a steel brace. He said, and he explained to me where to get that, and I did, and I wore that brace out basically. After about, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, it was gone. The joints in it were gone. So I never got knee replacement surgery, just because I found out that I saw an operation on television at the time. They used to cut the knee, top and bottom, below the knee and above the knee, and they drive things into steel things and pins in your leg. I saw that operation. That was enough. I said, no, I'm not going to get that. But that's when I met the guy on the web, and that's when I at age 56, I started using his high-level MSM protocol, which I outlined in the book. Some of the other problems I had at the time were I had what they call Duprin syndrome, and it's still sort of, you see the line in my hand. It's on both hands. It's not gotten any better since I started doing MSM. It's never gotten any worse, and that was in '56. And they told me it would get worse, and they said it would eventually, you know, my hand would do this, and I couldn't get it straight. Well, it has never done that. I think that it probably will never get healed completely, but certainly it hasn't gotten any worse since I was 56. And that runs in my family. Some of the other problems I had was being an architect, hanging over my drawing board. My neck would hurt, and I used to wear a brace on my neck all the time. And then I had never had any shoulder problems playing tennis, but some back problems, not too many. But virtually every other joint in my body was having problems. My feet had your pads on your feet, sort of, your bones sort of go through them. I had to wear some spongy things in my shoes, foam, to keep that from happening. Let's see, my other knee started to go a little bit too, but both knees, my hip, the other side was okay. You go up, I had tennis elbow on my tennis arm, so I had my finger problems, my Duprin syndrome, tennis elbow, no shoulder problems, neck. So basically, I was in bad shape. And within, I would say, within 4 months, I was over most of that. And within a year, I was over all of it. And my knee, which, you know, you can understand, was a serious problem. I don't know why it got better, but I don't. That knee's actually better than my other one now. And the other one is fine, but sometimes it hurts a little bit when I played a really hard game, or a lot of hard games of tennis. It gets bad. So anyway, that's the whole the story of where I am today, and the blood pressure thing is completely well. Others that have done it have been on this, have their blood pressure, if they had high blood pressure, went down. That's all got to do with the fact that, and this is what I got out of it, that your veins and arteries soften, so it absorbs the blood pressure, and evens it out, and you don't have that squirting going through your arteries. And no mainstream doctor has anything that would do anything to your circulatory system other than your arteries, and that's an operation. And everybody's familiar with those. So I'm basically totally well. And then, of course, you know, I've talked about how the gentleman from New Zealand got over the cancer. I've had several other people tell me that they've gotten over cancer, but his name, his wife told me that he had asbestos based cancer, and last I heard he's fine. He's a member of one of my discussion groups on the web, and there's no reason to believe that if these other people have gotten over cancer, that it shouldn't be in some way anti-cancer, some protection from cancer, I would say. And so basically I think we got all of our bases covered, and that's about it. Okay, so now taking what I just told you about the high-level MSM, adding what Rich has to give you with the living water on a daily basis, that gives you 100% hydration at the cellular level for the rest of your life. I think your life, that should be quite a few years, more than anybody else would normally live. One of the things, if you listen to Dan Nelson's video, he talks about the fact that the water changed after the flood. Well, I don't know. There's no way for me to measure that, but that makes a lot of sense. I do believe that the people in the Bible, and I would get that when I just got through doing a dowsing on that, and that comes out. It's true. So you take all this together, you look at the biblical accounts, and I think that people measured, as I've said before, lifespans correctly. I think they knew how many years they were, and if they lived 800 years or 900 years, as it was said in biblical Old Testament biblical accounts, I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to accept. I don't think people measured years differently then. That's often the way that's disputed. So you take this whole thing together, and I think we might be back into that kind of a lifespan. It's, of course, going to take us a long time to test this one.